Hello everyone! Today we're gonna compare the Volvo EX30 to the Smart #1. They have the same platform, same battery size, same motor. You can have the twin motor in both cars and two different batteries, the LFP battery that's smaller or this one that we have in these two cars, the 69 kilowatt hour battery. But the important thing I want to compare, how is the space, rear seats, the trunk, how can you interact with the car, and how is it to drive the two cars, because they're very, very different. First, let's look at the trunk. Both cars are open. It looks like that the Smart is higher to get into the trunk. Size-wise, very, very similar. Maybe the Volvo is a bit deeper. We have a second pocket here in the Volvo, which goes very deep, and a little compartment that you can close. And let's look at the Smart. Like I said, it's higher. And you have a second compartment as well, looks the same. That looks the same, there's no difference. Both cars have trunks. In the Smart, this stays open. This, I think size-wise it should be the same, but in the Volvo this doesn't stay open, it just closes. The rear seats, in the Volvo I already showed it, there's not a lot of room. And we're gonna see this. This seat, as always, is in my position, 180 centimeters. And I'm digging into these seats extremely strong. Oh my god. And this is not the best when it comes to legroom. I have two USB-Cs here and my window opening, and that's it. I have tiny little lights on the side, but I have good headroom. That's fine with me. With the Smart, let's see. I have way more legroom. Look at this. How? That's cool. I thought I can adjust. Yeah, you can adjust the seat here in the rear so you have more trunk space, or like now, more legroom. How cool is that? I also have one USB-C, one USB-A, and my window opening is in the door, where in the Volvo it's in the middle part. I have more headroom, I would say way more, even though this has the special roof. This is, for the rear seats, this is way more comfortable and way more space. Way better. Do I have air vents there? I have air vents here. Volvo front seats. Interestingly, there's no buttons in the door. There's no buttons here. The only buttons that you have are on the steering wheel, your stalks here, or here in the middle where you have locking and window opening and stuff like this. And then your screen. There are no buttons. They don't like buttons at Volvo. That's what they decided. You also don't have a cockpit or a head-up display. There's nothing here. The only thing here in front of you is the sensor that it recognizes if you are not paying attention to the road. The focus is on the screen, which has a good size, and Android Automotive, so you have Google apps that you can install. And many of them, and music, YouTube, Spotify, you have everything in here. You see all of the information. Your speed is then up here, because you don't have a cockpit or anything. It's all the screen, like we know from Tesla. And your climate is down here if you need that, your airflow, and an extra button so you get to your temperature. Right on the screen, if you want to change the temperature, you can't. You always have to press the seat and then change the temperature. With Android Automotive, you cannot use Android Auto. So if you have a phone, an Android phone, and you want to use app that is not supported by this operating system, you cannot use it on the screen. That's just how it is. That's sad. Apple CarPlay, I don't know. I don't think it can do it either, because I've never seen anywhere a thing that says App Connect or something like this. So I don't think you can. Cruise control. You can start cruise control. We just get the gear change things here down, and then cruise control is on. And with the buttons on the steering wheel, you can adjust the speed. Interestingly, when you press once, it goes 5 kilometers an hour steps up or down, and when you hold and press long, it's 1 kilometers an hour steps. In the Smart, it's the exact opposite. You can turn cruise control as the steering, self-steering, when you use cruise control, off and on here, and you have a favorite button here as well. What's also different and interesting is that you have here on the left stalk for your indicator, blinker, and you can, with this turn thingy here, you can adjust your wipers, and on the side are 2 buttons for the rear wiper and once for the front wiper, and you can spray there as well. This is also very different in the Smart. Yeah, in the Smart, it's completely different. We have the window opening for all 4, not just 2, and then you have to press an extra button like in the Volvo. All 4 for the window control. Your locking mechanism is here, and your light control, auto high beam, opening the trunk is also real buttons here on the left. That is nice. Not everything is on the screen. And on the steering wheel, you have on the left your cruise control, self-steering, and on the right, as you have in the Volvo, your music control, but you also have a trip button here so you can see your trip data. In the Smart here, we have a nice cockpit. I can see my speed, my cruise control, my state of charge, my range, my radio, my trip information. It's all here in the cockpit, where the Volvo doesn't have anything. This car here, this Smart, doesn't have a head-up display, but you can have one. In the Volvo, you cannot have a head-up display. The buttons on the right, the same gear change is the exact same thing, but cruise control is turned on the steering wheel, where you can also adjust the distance. This one you also cannot do in the Volvo. In the Volvo, you have to go into your infotainment system. Here you can do it with the buttons. And then the speed control, like I said, is the complete opposite. One time, when you press it one time, it's 1 kilometer an hour more or less. And when you hold it, then it's 5 kilometers an hour more and less. And here on the side, your wiper control and your indicator, it's all real buttons. So it's not something that you have to turn and then the infotainment system tells you what's happening. It's all happening here. In the Smart middle console, we have this gigantic pocket where you can turn this on and off, that the AC air goes in here as well, so it can cool something, but it goes with the AC. When you have the AC at 22 degrees, it doesn't get 6 degrees in here. This is not a fridge, but still. Then we have 2 cup holders, a cell phone holder here, and here in the front we have wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt outlet. You can close all of this. And then you have this gigantic middle console, where the Volvo, it's all empty. This doesn't have that, but we have a gigantic pocket down here if you need that, if this is important. Looks a bit scratched. And we have the air vents here in the middle, where in the Volvo it was on the side of the screen. And we have the same size screen, I would say, but it's in landscape mode, not in portrait. And this is not Android Automotive. It looks a bit childish with the fogs and with the stuff that you can see, but I have already noticed there are some settings, especially the assist settings, that are easier to find, but you still have to, when you are in home screen, you have to go to car and then assist, and then you can turn assist system that you don't want off, where in the Volvo it's one button and you have the main things right away, which is nicer. How does the map look like? It's not Google Maps, and it takes a second. Yeah, this is not Google Maps, and it doesn't work like Google Maps. So this is not Android Automotive, and you can see you cannot install 1,000 apps, but you still have Spotify. You have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in here. One difference that I forgot to mention before, the door handles. In the Volvo we have totally normal door handles, and on the driver's side you can lock it with your hand. In the Smart we have those thingies that go out, And I don't think you can lock the... Oh, yes, you can. You can lock the car here as well. But all door handles pop out. But now let's talk about driving. How is the driving feel in the two cars? I have noticed now on the highway, when it comes to suspension, extremely similar. Power is the same motor, almost the same weight. The Smart has a bit more higher drag coefficient, but it's very, very similar. So suspension is no problem. Volume in the car, I would say that the Volvo is a bit quieter. Steering, the Volvo has way lighter steering. It's almost horrible as light as it is. Only in the hardest setting it's acceptable. In the Smart it was fine even at a bit of a higher settings. The cruise control reacts the same way, not very nicely. I said it in the Volvo videos already that it does a bit of this when it comes to distance to the front car. What's really weird, both have the 130 limit that you cannot use self-steering above 130. Regenerative braking is very interesting. Both cars are very similar. I think that the Smart has a bit of stronger regen, which is interesting. And you can select it between low regen or strong regen. In the Volvo, it's one pedal drive or nothing. And they both have a weird thing when they are at higher state of charge, and I mean above 70%, that when you are coasting and then you give a bit of power and then a bit off, so it's a bit of regen, the regen comes in very, very strong and it's a very uncomfortable feeling, and they both have the same way. We've just seen in a consumption drive extra video that the Smart has a bit of a higher consumption, but it used the same percentage of the battery, so I'm pretty sure that the difference is tiny. So it's not a lot, it's not a big difference, so range is not a reason to say I want this car or that car. I think it's almost the same, even though the Volvo has a higher WLTP range. So you could see the differences between these two cars. I haven't driven them at night, both, not even the Volvo, even that I have it for 3 weeks already. I have no idea if the light is different or better or worse. Overall, they're very, very different. I mean, a cockpit head-up display and here's nothing. Android Automotive and not. So very different when it comes to how you interact with the car, but not driving-wise. I think driving-wise they're very, very similar, and it also makes sense. You have to make your decision if you want an empty car where you have no space in the rear seats, or you want space in the rear seats and you want a cockpit or something, and but the infotainment system looks a bit childish. If this is more for your liking, then take the Smart. If you want it more grown up, then I think the Volvo is your choice. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, check out my third channel here on YouTube, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye!